Alright, so we just discovered that the contrast gives us the look that we're going for in terms of how tight our enamel chipping is. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my sharpen because I don't think that's really going to make much difference at this point. And I want to add some variation to the color. So I've got my color here, and what I kind of want to do is add some duller areas. That's more of the roughness that would be informing that, which is controlled here, although this is more just roughness variation. I think I'm going to come over here and rename this variation. And then I'm going to just duplicate my color. And with this color, we're going to go a little bit lighter, just barely, right? Like, that's kind of what we're talking about. And you can see it kind of punches up the height a little bit, so I'm going to actually turn the height contribution of this new layer off. And now I want to use a black mask with a smart mask on it. And I'm looking for something, oh, dust surface. You might just be perfect. It might also be a little bit too pale. Let's see. There we go. See where you're showing up. So with the roughness here, I think I'm going to increase it a little bit. Turn off my roughness variation. And I forget what I did with this roughness value. It doesn't even have one. So we'll get this roughness feeling kind of glossy, and this roughness feeling a little bit dull, maybe not quite that dull, just slightly different. And I'm not sure if the color variation is significant enough that it's starting to show. So we can go ahead and tweak those values a little bit, try to get them to pop. And I also probably don't want quite that much of it. Really just want like a little tiny bit. So let's look at what we can do in the mask itself. Look at the world space normal. It would make the most sense for it to be focused on the top area here. You can see there's something weird going on. I guess that's all those little extrusions. So we have bottom intensity. Let's reduce the bottom intensity. I guess increasing the bottom intensity is what we actually need to do. Maybe because it's inverted. Yeah, it's inverted, true. So even though this is the label, the mask designer went ahead and inverted it, so all the stuff is going to obviously be backwards. And on the right intensity, these we can reduce as well, but I don't really, well, that's strange. Let's take a look at this and make sure. So that appears to be top and front. What's going on with this one here? Maybe it's like the back or something. It's conceivable. Triplanar is on. So that might be changing. Let me see if I turn that off, what happens. So these are all basically kind of as I would expect. There should be something here, but whatever. Like I said, there should be something here too. It doesn't seem like it would be that pronounced, but it clearly is. So let me just see if I reduce the intensity on the right, if that actually changes anything. That's strange. There's some mask magic that is beyond. It's happening for a reason, and it's just sometimes with these smart masks, you can get in and reverse engineer them to a point, but there may be something in there that's kind of obscure that's making it a little bit more of a challenge. So anyway, we're going to start here. And I'm going to make it even a little bit brighter than this, just so I can really see what's going on. Get kind of a sun fade on there. And I'm going to add a fill to this. And we'll go over to grunges. And I don't know, maybe this like leaky thing. And for this one, we're definitely going to want to use triplanar. And we'll look at our scale here. And so now that I can see what's going on with it, oh, and I want to actually add it, I want to combine it with the stuff that's there already. So it's probably going to be a multiply. So you can see kind of how that's showing up. I'm not sure if the drips is the right look. See if we can find something else. I kind of just want it to be a little bit random. So with this, I'm going to take a look at my fill, and we can punch it up a little bit. All right, now we're starting to kind of get what I was hoping to see, which is just like, this feels very procedural and is definitely not going to work. But I like what's going on the sides a little bit. So I'm going to add a paint up here. And we'll grab a nice soft brush. You can try this, see what cement looks like. This one's probably good. And my lighting environment is not wonderful for showing me what's going on the top. I don't have something that I know for a fact will work better. So rather than noodling around with it, I'm just going to see if this will be possible. So I'm painting here. I'm going to be painting out a little bit just to soften it up and make it feel less like it's just outlining this feature here, which is, again, that procedural thing. And I do have my symmetry turned on here. I don't know that it's making that much of a difference, but I'm going to actually turn this on and then just add in a little bit more of the sun fading. And since we're here, let's go ahead and, I'm not sure, oh, that's why. So I don't really want to, like red would have, yeah, so red is going to go ahead and try to apply it to a bunch of other spots. Now one of the things that's kind of cool is all that procedural stuff that we did is being immediately applied to everything else, and I think that's one of those little things about Painter that's so cool. If you set it up using the procedural approach, you're going to be in good shape, but I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to add a paint, and in this paint I am going to just, actually I think that's probably, that's welded, so but I can use, because these polys are so big, I can just do a fill here. I think that's fine. These things aren't really worth calling out beyond that. You know, it's kind of an interesting visual detail. All right, so again, the way they did it is I just added a paint. I made sure it was at the color selection level. And then, and if I turn on my mask here, you can see, because these have a different material ID, the color selection didn't grab them. And so I added a paint. I'm painting in all the way 1, so it's fully opaque. I'm using the polygon fill, paint by element, whatever, and then just clicking, I select polygon, and then I just select these polygons, and it'll go ahead and fill them with white, and I can make sure that I get that stuff included. And then if I hop back over to my material, we can see what's happening here. And I'm going to stop the video now. I'm going to do one more video at least, where I'm going to add in this subtle dust into the crevices, and we'll see how that looks. And potentially we will be done-ish with our orange area. So we'll take care of that in the next video.